years had suffered stomach disorders and other illnesses, believed himself to be dying anyway. It's also possible that Hamilton didn't believe Burr would shoot to kill. Duels, while sometimes fatal, more often were not fought to the death, instead stopping before shots were even fired, or at the first draw of blood, or after a few misfires. Hamilton must have known that if Burr killed him, Burr would be committing political suicide, because there'd be almost no chance he'd ever again hold public office. Perhaps Hamilton thought reason would prevail, that the ever-ambitious Burr, not wanting to entirely end his own career, would make a show of firing, content to inflict a wound, but stop short of killing him. There was another possibility. Hamilton had long romanticized a glorious death, so perhaps, knowing Burr would be committing political suicide by killing him, Hamilton thought it honorable to take a bullet to save the country from the threat posed by Burr. Burr and Hamilton measured the distance of 10 paces between them. Next, they loaded their pistols and turned to face each other. Several others were there to watch and supervise, including 2 New York lawyers, Nathaniel Pendleton and William Van Ness. Also present, as customary at duels, was a doctor. Pendleton made sure both men were ready, then gave the signal by saying, "Present." Hamilton fired first, aiming upward. His bullet tore through the foliage overhead. Burr, who fired a moment later, aimed directly at Hamilton and shot him in the stomach. Hamilton fell to the ground. The doctor flew to his side. Hamilton looked up and said, "This is a mortal wound, doctor." With that, he sank into unconsciousness. Pendleton and the doctor lifted him up and carried him down to the riverbank, where a boatman waited. They'd rowed halfway across the Hudson River on their way back to Manhattan when Hamilton revived, his eyes fluttering but not opening all the way. He said his vision was blurred. He asked that the news be broken to his wife as gently as possible. Hamilton died at home the next afternoon, surrounded by his wife and his children, leaving behind a nation shocked and angry and a legacy that continues to this day. 1. An orphan and a dreamer. My ambition is prevalent that I contemn the groveling and condition of a clerk or the like to which my fortune condemns me, and I would willingly risk my life, though not my character, to exalt my station. Alexander Hamilton. Alex Hamilton was born in 1755 in Charleston, on the island of Nevis in the British West Indies, a place of lush tropical jungles and sugar plantations. The island was only 5 miles across, surrounded by the sparkling turquoise waters of the Caribbean. Pirates swarmed the nearby seas. As a young boy, Alex would have seen captured pirates hauled through town to the courthouse for judgment before being hanged at Gallows Bay. He would have seen slaves brutally whipped in the open markets and sold in the auction blocks at Market Shop and Cross's Alley. He would have seen trading ships from all over the world sail into Charleston's port. He lived with his parents and his brother James, who was 2 years older, in a humble stone house on the main street in Charleston, within sight of the beach. His father, James Hamilton, was something of a drifter. James was a younger son of a Scottish landowner whose family traced its lineage to the 14th century. The Hamiltons' ancestral home, a castle called the Grange, was located in Kilmarnock, Scotland. James came to the Sugar Islands to make his fortune. Getting started in the sugar trade was difficult, and unfortunately James Hamilton had no head for business. Before long, he fell into debt. Lacking the money for boat passage back to Scotland, he spent a few years in and out of jobs. He was working at the port when he met Rachel Fawcett, Alex's mother. Her father was a French